Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Carl Jung. Money. It seems like a simple exchange, a currency, a resource, a means to an end. But beneath your everyday spending, saving, or hoarding lies a complex architecture of unseen beliefs, archetypes, and shadow forces that you did not choose, they chose you. These patterns are not merely habits. They are psychological imprints, reflections of childhood, ego defenses, ancestral conditioning, and unresolved wounds, all playing out through your wallet. Today, let us go deep, not into your bank account, but into your soul. Because the way you relate to money is the way you relate to yourself. Each of us carries within a unique relationship to money, one that isn't born out of logic, but out of deep emotional and psychological conditioning. You may believe you're in control of your finances, acting based on reason, goals, or even strategy. But in truth, there is an unconscious character at play behind the scenes, an archetype. And this archetype, like an invisible hand, often writes your financial story without your conscious consent. This inner archetype might be the saver, someone who feels safety only when accumulating and preserving wealth, never feeling it's quite enough. Perhaps as a child, you witnessed instability, chaos, or loss, and saving became a psychological shield, a way to create order in a world that once felt threatening. You do not merely save money, you save yourself from ever feeling vulnerable again. Or perhaps your archetype is the spender, a person who seeks freedom, identity, or self-worth through material expression. For the spender, shopping is not just commerce, it's a ritual of self-validation. The underlying belief may be, if I have this, I am someone. But behind every purchase lies an ache, a longing to be seen, accepted, and valued, often by others and rarely by the self. The martyr archetype gives constantly, especially to others, often to their own detriment. This archetype associates love with sacrifice. If I give, I am good. If I give everything, I am worthy. Money, then, is not a tool for autonomy but a mechanism for earning affection, approval, or moral superiority. This behavior is rarely conscious. It's shaped by an inner child who perhaps learned that their needs came last, or didn't matter at all. Then there is the tyrant, the controller of every coin and every outcome. This archetype wields money as power, often in response to an earlier life where they felt powerless, disrespected, or voiceless. The tyrant needs to dominate finances because deep down, they believe that if they do not control money, money will control them. Beneath the surface, there's rarely greed, but often fear. And lastly, the innocent, the one who avoids money, doesn't want to talk about it, and fears it. They wish someone else would handle it all. Perhaps they were shielded from financial realities or made to feel inadequate around responsibility. They may appear carefree, but often carry hidden guilt or helplessness around their financial ignorance. These archetypes are not your flaws. They are symbols, the language of the unconscious. They reflect unmet needs, hidden fears, and internalized family dynamics. They are not permanent roles. But unless you examine and name them, they will continue to shape your life silently and powerfully. To understand your money archetype is to reclaim authorship of your inner narrative. When you identify which archetype you've been unconsciously embodying, you begin the sacred process of transformation. You are no longer blindly reacting, you are consciously choosing. And the moment you begin to choose, truly choose, you are no longer merely surviving your financial life. You are rewriting it. The greatest forces shaping your financial reality are not the numbers in your account, the economy, or your level of education, they are the beliefs hidden deep within your unconscious. These are your shadow beliefs, the ones you didn't choose, but which govern your behaviors all the same. They were formed in silence, in fear, in early moments when your mind was still too soft to question and too young to resist. And now, they speak through every decision you make with money. You may believe you're bad with money, not because of facts, but because you once heard a parent say, "We can't afford that," with tension in their voice. You may hesitate to charge your worth for your services, not because your work isn't valuable, but because somewhere deep inside, you carry the unexamined belief that asking for more makes you greedy. You may find yourself spending recklessly, not because you lack control, but because you're trying to fill an invisible wound that you don't know how to name. Shadow beliefs are not always loud. They rarely announce themselves. Instead, they show up as subtle resistance, guilt, anxiety, and self-sabotage. You may feel uncomfortable holding on to money. Or you might fear losing it so much that you never enjoy it. Perhaps every time abundance comes into your life, something inside you orchestrates its exit, through a poor investment, an unwise loan, or neglect. These patterns are not accidents. They are the unconscious mind fulfilling the prophecy of a belief you forgot you had. Common shadow beliefs include, I don't deserve wealth. If I succeed, I'll be alone. Money corrupts. If I have more, others will have less. These ideas are inherited, from culture, religion, parents, or personal trauma. And until they are brought to the surface, they act like secret contracts. You live your life according to their rules, never questioning where they came from or why you continue to obey them. The paradox is that we often fear success as much as failure. Because to become wealthy, not just in material terms, but psychologically wealthy, means you must confront what you've been avoiding. It means breaking loyalty to family narratives, challenging old roles, and risking visibility. Many people unconsciously reject abundance not because they don't want it, but because the cost of becoming someone new, someone free, feels too great. And so they stay small, stuck, financially stagnant, all while believing it's fate. But shadow beliefs lose their power the moment they are seen. When you bring them into the light, when you name them, challenge them, and rewrite them, your entire reality begins to shift. You are no longer a victim of invisible scripts. You become the editor of your inner world. And in doing so, you don't just change your bank balance. You change your identity. You change your lineage. You break generational cycles of shame, scarcity, and fear. And step into a financial life aligned not with your wounds, but with your wholeness. The way you relate to money today is not simply a reflection of your intelligence, discipline, or goals, it is, in many ways, a reflection of your childhood. Whether you realize it or not, the child you once were is still influencing your financial decisions. That child, shaped by early experiences of safety, fear, abundance, or neglect, continues to speak, not through words, but through your spending, saving, avoiding, or overcompensating. As children, we observed everything, how our parents treated money, how they spoke about it, and how it shaped their emotional world. Was money a source of stress? Was it fought over? Was it used to control or manipulate? Or was it a symbol of love and generosity, given in place of presence and affection? If you grew up in an environment where money was always scarce, you may have internalized the belief that there's never enough. And now, no matter how much you earn, you might find yourself gripped by anxiety or compulsively hoarding. If you were raised in a household where financial abundance existed but came with emotional neglect, you may have developed the unconscious belief that money can substitute for love, and now you spend in hopes of feeling fulfilled, while the emptiness remains. Even those who were given everything without boundaries may struggle, because money was always there, but emotional connection wasn't. And now, as adults, they may feel incapable of managing money wisely, constantly expecting someone else to rescue or fix things. You see, money becomes a stand-in for the things we didn't receive: attention, safety, approval, autonomy. And once money becomes a proxy for love, worth, or identity, it stops being a neutral tool and becomes emotionally charged, a mirror of our unmet needs. The inner child, still carrying unresolved emotions, can sabotage your financial goals without you realizing it. Maybe you overgive, always helping others financially because you learned early that love must be earned through sacrifice. Maybe you avoid looking at your accounts because the idea of confronting numbers brings shame, shame rooted in a childhood where you felt incapable or less than. Or perhaps you indulge in spending sprees not because you need more things, but because for a few fleeting moments, you feel powerful, seen, or in control, something your younger self never got to feel. Your financial behaviors are not irrational. They are deeply emotional. They are survival strategies, brilliant adaptations formed in childhood to help you cope with environments that didn't always meet your emotional needs. But here's the truth, that child no longer has to manage your money. You are not that helpless, dependent being anymore. You are the adult now. And with awareness, you can begin to reclaim your financial choices from the unconscious grip of the past. This requires courage. It requires listening, not just to your bank statements, but to the stories behind them. It means meeting your inner child with compassion, asking, what were you trying to protect? What were you trying to gain? And most importantly, what do you need now that you didn't receive then? Only then can you begin to build a relationship with money that reflects who you truly are, not who you had to be. The past may have shaped your financial instincts, but it does not have to define your financial future. When you heal the child within, you free the adult to live, and spend, with intention, clarity, and peace. There is a profound divide within every human being, a quiet but constant tension between the ego and the soul. Nowhere is this more evident than in your relationship with money. The ego is loud. It wants wealth, status, admiration, and control. It thrives on measurement, on being better than, on accumulation, on external validation. The ego believes that once a certain financial milestone is reached, a salary, a car, a home, a number in a bank account, then, and only then, will peace finally come. But the soul does not speak the language of numbers. It does not care how many zeros trail behind your income. It does not measure worth in dollars or possessions. The soul is quiet, subtle, enduring. It wants depth, truth, alignment. It wants meaning. The ego will chase. It will exhaust you. It will convince you that you're behind, that someone else is ahead, and that you must keep running. It sees money as a mirror. If you have more, you are more. If you have less, you are less. The ego turns wealth into identity. It whispers that your value as a human being is tied to your net worth. And so you chase, endlessly, not because you need more, but because you fear being nothing without it. But the soul doesn't chase. It remembers. It remembers who you were before the world told you who to be. It doesn't want you to be rich, it wants you to be real. It asks, what is the purpose behind what you're building? Who are you becoming as you pursue this wealth? Is this success truly yours, or is it borrowed from someone else's dream? The soul knows that money, at its best, is a tool, a means of expressing your deepest values, not replacing them. It wants you to create, to serve, to give, to align. It isn't opposed to money, but it wants your relationship with it to be sacred, not superficial. When you let the ego lead, your financial life becomes a performance. You curate your lifestyle to be seen, to impress, to protect your image. But no matter how much you accumulate, it never feels like enough. The emptiness persists, because the ego's hunger cannot be satisfied. It only grows. When the soul leads, your financial choices reflect who you truly are. You earn with integrity. You spend with purpose. You give with love. You are no longer caught in comparison, because your worth is not up for debate, it simply is. Wealth becomes less about dominance and more about dignity. Less about success, more about significance. This shift does not mean abandoning ambition, it means aligning it. It means asking, what is this for? And being brave enough to answer honestly. It means letting go of empty metrics and anchoring your life in meaning. Because in the end, it won't matter how much you earned, but how deeply you lived. It won't matter what you had, but who you were, to yourself, to others, and to something greater than both. So pause. Reflect. Ask yourself, is my financial life driven by my ego's fear or my soul's truth? The ego seeks to prove. The soul seeks to express. And the path to wholeness is found when your outer world, your money, your work, your choices, becomes a true reflection of your inner one. Let your wealth be an expression of your essence, not a substitute for it. Let money serve your soul, not replace it. Then, and only then, will you experience what real abundance feels like. Freedom is often misunderstood. Many people believe it is something to be earned or acquired, a destination reached only when a certain level of wealth is attained. We're told that once we have enough money, we'll finally be free. Free from worry. Free from work. Free from obligation. But this is an illusion, a trick of the mind, and a very persuasive one. The truth is, external riches alone cannot deliver the freedom we seek, not if we are internally fragmented. You see, freedom is not the absence of limitation. It is the presence of inner unity. You may have millions in the bank and still be enslaved by anxiety, guilt, insecurity, or a gnawing sense of inadequacy. You may appear successful on the outside, yet live in constant fear of loss, failure, or exposure. Without integration, the alignment of your thoughts, emotions, beliefs, and behaviors, all the wealth in the world cannot save you from yourself. This is where the shadow comes into play. Parts of you that have been rejected, shamed, or hidden, your unmet needs, buried traumas, compulsions, and irrational fears, continue to operate below the surface. And they do not disappear just because you are financially stable. In fact, wealth can amplify them. The man who avoids his past by overworking will simply work more obsessively when he becomes rich. The woman who fears abandonment may use money to buy affection, never realizing that her actions are not generosity but emotional survival. We don't escape these inner patterns by upgrading our lifestyle, we escape them only by facing ourselves. Integration is the work of bringing all these fragmented parts into the light. It is about recognizing the inner child who spends impulsively to feel important. The inner critic who tells you that you'll never be secure enough. The anxious protector who urges you to hoard every penny just in case. These voices are not wrong, they are wounded. And as long as they remain unconscious, they will continue to control your financial reality. Real freedom begins when you stop running. When you sit with yourself, all of yourself, and listen. When you acknowledge the parts of you that you once had to hide just to be accepted. It is only by accepting them now that you begin to heal. And in healing, you become whole. Wholeness brings clarity. And clarity brings freedom. Because once you are no longer at war with yourself, you no longer need to chase external wealth to soothe internal pain. You no longer act from compulsion or fear. You make choices from a place of grounded awareness. You know what is enough, and what is too much. You know when to give, when to receive, when to rest, and when to grow. This kind of freedom cannot be taken away. It is not dependent on market trends, job titles, or investment returns. It is rooted in self-knowledge, in the calm that comes from being in right relationship with yourself. So if you seek true freedom, begin not with your finances, but with your fragmentation. Begin with the parts of you that you've ignored. Bring them home. Let every decision, financial or otherwise, emerge from a place of deep inner coherence. Because when the self is integrated, the soul is at peace. And when the soul is at peace, you are truly free, regardless of what's in your bank account. Money is not just a physical asset, it is psychological energy. And like all energy, it can either imprison you or liberate you. To know your money habits is to know yourself. To change them is to awaken. The treasure you're looking for is not in the bank, it's buried in the depths of your unconscious. Dig deeper. Make the unconscious conscious. Transform your relationship with money, and in doing so, transform your life.